Now let's talk for a moment about the different modes that are available for us in WPA. I'm going to put WPA at the top here so we know what we're talking about. First off, under Enterprise Authentication, let's take a look at what's required. When we're using 802.1x WPA and we're at the enterprise level, we're going to need some type of authentication server in the background. This is going to help us through that EAP process. If you don't remember the EAP process, please go back and review. It's a very important part of this infrastructure. Next, we're going to use a radius server for the authentication and key distribution. We have a key infrastructure that we're going to maintain here. We're going to use EAP, type of EAP, maybe even MS Chap EAP, something to keep things going so we know we are secure and safe to get those keys or certificates back and forth. We're going to have centralized access control. That means you have a wireless LAN controller or some other device in there that controls your access points. And encryption uses TKIP or AES. Now, in the modern world, we're using AES. WPA2, basically made WPA deprecated WPA. So we use AES in the modern world, but we're going to learn about the other process as well. Now, on the other side of that coin for WPA is WPA for personal use. Now, imagine we use a pre-shared key here. We don't use a pre-shared key in enterprise. We use pre-shared key in the personal WPA personal setup. Authentication server is not required. This is a big deal in branch offices. If you don't have an authentication server on hand, you might want to go with WPA Personal. Use that pre-shared key. No need for that authentication server, Radius or AAA server. A shared secret is used for an authentication. Now notice the difference here. We're not using a shared secret on the other side of enterprise. Everybody has their own login that they use to access the network. It's accountable, right? Authenticated, and then it's accountable. We can see who's doing what. Again, we have local access control. That means that the APs could be on their own. They could not. And encryption uses TKIP or AES. Again, those are our options.